Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my guest is Rodas Yonass. I hope I didn't butcher that. Did I get that correctly?
No, you got it. It's Rodas Yonass. Yep.
All
Perfect.
right, awesome. So go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience in case they don't know who you are, because just go ahead and tell them who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Yep. My name is Rodas Yonass. I'm from Maryland, USA. What I do, I'm a YouTuber, a reseller on eBay, Amazon, Facebook. I'm a software developer. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, bro. So first of all, man, I wanted to tell you, man, that you're very like I could tell just by watching your videos, like, man, this guy had went to college. Like, you're very intelligent, you're very articulate person, and you come at things like almost from a strategic point of view. So if you guys haven't got a chance to check out his YouTube channel, I think you're at like 36,000 subscribers right now.
Yeah, I think somewhere around there. Yeah, I credit all that to my software engineering background. I try to just break things down into smaller components and just come in from a strategic point of view. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what's coming across.
Yeah. Also, I think I saw you. You were on with JT Hustles. He had like chopped your video up and then posted it on his channel. So I was on
Yeah,
there as
yeah,
well. So tell me a little bit about that, bro.
yeah. That was pretty crazy. I really didn't know that much about JT Hustles before that video, and
Yeah.
a bunch of people were hitting me up on Instagram, on YouTube, telling me that JT Hustles did a video, and I went checked it out. It was pretty. It was a really good video. I think he edited my video way better than I did because I was just starting when I made that video. So it was pretty cool to see, and I did a little reaction back to him and just letting him know that I appreciate him taking the time to review my video, my channel. So that was pretty cool. I like connecting with other creators online, and that's one of the reasons I got into this. So I
Yeah,
really
that's
appreciate it.
awesome, man. Well, we're on a live stream, so let me say hello here to Sal HQ is serious is the first person here. Salute. He's got the strong emojis here. I wanted to say hey to Regina Michelle says hello, Jeff, and everyone got you playing in the background. Hey Regina, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. And I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips. Annie is in the chat. She says, hey Jeff, Rodas, and Regina. So hey man, so kind of talk to me a little bit because I can feel you got a little bit of a entrepreneurial type of spirit in you, bro. So, because most people, if they had a good 9 to 5 job, maybe they were working as a software engineer and they had a good paying job, that would be it. They would just do their 9 to 5 job, go home, watch Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, and then eat their TV dinner and call it a night. So, what got you kind of started where you're like, man, I need to make more money. I'm going to start this reselling game and I'm going to start YouTube because I think I watched one of your videos and you said that you were trying to pay back some of your student loan debt. Like maybe you need to come up with a few extra dollars and quick. So tell us a little bit about your backstory and your journey into this.
Yeah, you did your research. That was exactly why I started. Originally, I just wanted to make a couple $100 to $200 per month just to put it towards my student loans and just pay it off maybe a couple of years sooner. So I accidentally got into the flipping game, the eBay game. All of it was completely brand new to me. I got into it in 2014. I was reading this book, I think it was called The Millionaire Next Door or something along those lines. And when I was reading the book, they had forums that they advertised inside the book. So I went and checked out the forums, and there's a bunch of other people that have that same mindset of entrepreneurship, hustles, making extra money. And they just posted their experience with doing different things. Somebody started a software company, somebody else started a YouTube, somebody else started something else. And what caught my eye was this one guy, and he said, how I make $300,000 per year importing and reselling from China.
Right.
And straight up in the post, he was very, very deliberate, very clear. He gave all the instructions. And I even made an account just to ask him questions. He got back to me, and then I was like, whoa, this could be something. And so I just went out and tried it. I sold the
Yeah.
first thing that I found around my room, which was a book that I had in college. So I just wanted to test it out. And I was like, let me
Yeah.
go try to list this on eBay for $5 and see if anybody buys it, if it's real.
Yeah.
And somebody did buy it, and then that was the rest. And then from there, I just followed all his instructions. And that's how I got started into it. And I've just been trying to learn all the different aspects from it ever since.
Yeah, guys, if you get a chance if you don't have time, if you're not like a book reader, you should definitely check that book out. I know what he's talking about as far as The Millionaire Next Door. And it talks about basically living below your means, taking money and investing it. And it talks about everyday people where they're not dressed up and dressed to the nines and suit and tie, that these are everyday people that actually had a net worth of $1 million versus people that were dressed apart to look like a millionaire, but we're flat broke. So if you don't have time to read the book, you can check it out on YouTube and you can look it up and you can listen to the audio book. So maybe when you're out running around doing errands or, going to the bank or the grocery store or whatever, you can just have it playing in the background and you could learn some stuff from that. So you were at the situation and you're like, okay, I graduated college. I got a 9-to-5 job. I've got to figure out a way to start paying off debt. And you were trying to come up with something creative to generate revenue. So you started trying things. You were like trying different things to see what works and what doesn't work. And what kind of got me drawn to you, one of the videos I have linked down below, his video is talking about how he makes an extra $10,000. I guess I'm assuming that's gross sales, $10,000 per month. And how many hours a week? Was it like 10 hours a week or something?
Yeah, it was 10 or less.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the hook. So to me, I was like, bro, everybody's got an extra 10 hours a week. And this guy's doing it while still working a full-time job. So kind of take us behind the curtain. What kind of inspired you to make this video, and kind of tell me a little bit about what your strategy is, how you go from, because when people are hearing this, they're like, bro, maybe I have student loan debt. I'm at zero. I don't have a lot of inventory. I don't have a lot of free time. Maybe they have, a family, they have a wife and kids and stuff, and their window of time is limited. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So, every business that I try to venture into or try to learn about, so far for me, has had to have two components. One, the barrier to entry has to be very minimal. Like, I don't need a lot of cash, right? That's reselling. I don't need a lot of time. Again, that's reselling. So those two components are very important to me, because at the end of the day, for me, money is about freedom and buying more time. I want to be able to go do stuff while I'm making money here. So that was the whole inspiration. So I got into flipping because I figured out that I can just buy. It takes me about an hour to 2 hours to go buy something, bring it home, list it, and sell it. And all I have to do is go drive and drop it off, and that's it. And even if I wanted to automate it even more, I could. So that's what really drew me into reselling. And that's the same reason I got into YouTube. I learned that I could take the knowledge that I have. If I talk about things that I have experience in, if I talk about things that I'm passionate about, if I talk about things that I know other people would get value out of, and if I could get paid for that almost forever, that's an ideal job. And that's exactly what YouTube is for me. And that's what it's done for me. I've posted my how to sell on eBay video, I think over a year ago, and I've been getting paid for it every month after the first year. So it took me a year to monetize on YouTube, but after that year, I've been getting a paycheck from that every month, and it's been over a year of that constantly happening.
Bro, man, I don't hope you don't mind me kind of put you on the spot here a little bit, but some people hear about YouTube and they're like, oh yeah, I can make $2 a day or $3 a day from ad revenue. Your channel, from where you're at, you have 36,000 subscribers. And what people don't realize is, like, once you cross that threshold of having 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, you have this check coming in every month for the rest of your life. That's it. Every month, the rest of your life, you have this check coming in. And I did a little bit of research on you before the show, and people don't understand. This guy dropped one video and he made $2,000 off of one video. And so that's more than most people make working all week, 40, 50 hours a week in a factory somewhere, or working a 9-to-5 job. And you made like $2,000 off of one YouTube video. Yeah. So what kind of got you inspired to start your YouTube channel? And tell people what other type of content you make on your channel so they can check you out. I have all the links down below on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah. So the reason I got into YouTube was purely selfish reasons. I needed some creative outlet outside of work, 9 to 5. It kind of brings you down. So I needed something creative to do outside of work. I needed something that could make money, and I needed something that didn't take too much time because I did work and I have a side hustle and I have all these other things. So when I took all those together and I was watching the bigger YouTubers like Graham and everybody, I I thought about it. I was like, they're talking about basic things that they have really good understanding of, and they're just making content to share it with other people, and other people see the value in it, and you get rewards for that. And it couldn't be any simpler to me. So that's what really inspired me. And I initially, when I started YouTube, I had a goal of making 100 videos before I quit. Told myself, I know YouTube is one of those things that is very easy to get into. That's why it's very hard to be successful at. So I gave myself consistency. I told myself I'm going to do at least one video a week, because with YouTube, you have to understand that when you're a beginner, you have to grind it out. You have to make as much content as possible, and content that's relevant to what you're already doing. So I focused on money. I focused on eBay. And I focused on stuff that I knew. I'm very passionate about money and helping other people along the lines of money. So that's what my channel is, and that's what I focused on. And that's really what led to my success, is being really narrow-minded in that sense, where I'm making content on this niche and I'm staying there, and I'm going to grind it out until either I quit or I make something out of it.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, like I watch some of your videos and you're like master class on YouTube, bro. It's like I watch my videos and I watch your videos and I'm like, oh, that's why. So you're very articulate, like the way you talk and the way you're very like, I don't know, deliberate in what you're trying to say, and it comes across. It doesn't look like you. I feel like you can record a video in one take. I do it, and it's like 3 times. I have to smash the button, restart, scratch, start all over, you know. And so sometimes you'll have a brain freeze, and you have to kind of start all over. But if you don't mind, do you mind telling our audience, with you even having a smaller channel at 36,000 subscribers, what would you actually make on an average month? Because I heard it was right around $5,000 or more. Could you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Oh man. So it really depends. So if for me, when I was constantly making content, I'm talking about at least once a week, I was making easily anywhere from 3 to 8,000 per month.
Wow.
And then, yeah. So YouTube, obviously, the more content you make, the more they're going to push you out into other realms, and everybody's going to want to watch it. So the more content you make, the higher you get up there. But when you stop making content, your revenue starts dropping and you don't make as much. So for me, I haven't made content in about 7 months, and I've been doing at least 1,000 per month without any content.
Right. So even if you haven't dropped a video in 6 months, you're still making money kind of on autopilot. So
yeah, exactly.
Would you have give me like 2 or 3 tips or pieces of advice you would have for people? Because, you know, when you were talking earlier about Graham Stephan, I told my little brother, I was like, hey man, you know, this guy, Graham Stephan's making like 200 grand a month shooting YouTube videos. And he was like, no way. I'm like, yeah, bro, this guy's literally making not $200,000 a year. I'm talking about per month shooting YouTube videos. And he didn't actually believe me. And I was like, I sent him a link. I'm like, look, check this out. And so what kind of advice would you give to somebody if they were a content creator, if they're getting started, or maybe they're like, man, I'm not getting enough traction. I'm trying to get to my 1,000 subscribers. Some days I just feel like, because you're honestly, you're working for free for the first 10 months or a year. So what type of piece of advice or insight could you give them to help them out?
Yeah. Before I answer that, let me answer 1 or 2 of these questions in the chat. So somebody asked if I'm from London. No, I'm from Maryland, the USA. And somebody else asked if I sell on other online platforms. I do sell on Amazon, but very, very, very little of my sales are on Amazon. And that's because I think Amazon is just a terrible place to sell if you're a really small seller. And I also sell on Facebook Marketplace for high-end items that I don't want to deal with the returns, and I don't want to deal with the 10% eBay and PayPal fees that will take out a huge chunk of my profits. What part of Maryland is he in? I'm in around the Rockville area. So to go back to your question about what tip would I give a content creator, the only tip I would give a content creator is be focused and be consistent if you're small. That's all it takes. You need focus and consistency. You need to make content that's related to other content that you have already made. So for you, your channel is called eBay Addicts. So if you're making content on about eBay, you need to pump that out as much as possible, and you need to be able to tag it in the. I'm sure you've already seen this before. You need to tag the description, the title, the thumbnail, everything. That's how the famous YouTube algorithm works, because it kind of understands, and I've seen this happen firsthand. It understands what kind of videos you make, and it puts those videos in front of people that care about them. When people care about the video, they're more likely to click on it. They're more likely to watch. They're more likely to watch longer. When that happens, YouTube keeps recommending your content. So don't make a billion different videos when you're first starting. You do have to be really focused.
Yeah. So if your niche is reselling, don't make, car repairs, auto mechanic repair videos, because it's going to be like totally out of your wheelhouse. But let me say hello to a few people in the chat. I wanted to say hello to Terrell Williams is here. I wanted to say hey to Lester Jones, a Hollywood reseller, is in chat. He wants to know, is hashtags important? Because you talked a little bit about hashtags. That's important as well, as far as getting ranking and some stuff like that in the YouTube algorithm,
on YouTube,
right?
Yeah, on YouTube, as much information as you can put without spamming, it's what I would say. So if you can put hashtag that's relevant, you should.
All right, awesome. And I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips Annie, and Regina is in the chat, and Sal HQ is here. So now we want to kind of get a little bit of your reselling game. So what is some tips, some tricks, some strategies that you can share with our audience? Because I kind of saw that you kind of did some shopping maybe at Target, maybe you went clearance at Walmart. What are some of the items that you look for to help grow and expand your business? Because you're primarily sell on eBay, correct?
Yep. Yeah, right. That's correct. So typically, I don't have any specific product that I sell. I sell products that are worth my time and effort. And as time went on, that changed. So initially, I was happy with making $1 on an item that cost me $3 to acquire and to sell. But as time goes on, I need more of a profit margin. So I need at least a 50% profit margin or higher to make it worth my time. But for a new seller, I would say as long as you could at least break even, you need to take that practice, because you need to understand that you have to learn so many different aspects of this industry. You have to learn how shipping works and how to get the least amount of shipping cost. You have to learn how to handle returns. You have to learn how to handle customer service. You have to learn how to handle taking pictures and uploading items. There's a lot of different components that get into it. So when you're starting, you can't be very picky in what items that you sell. As long as you have at least a 25% profit margin or higher, I would sell it. And that's exactly what I did. And as I went on, my reselling kind of changed. I used to focus on selling as much stuff as I could. So I would sell 100 items in one day and making $1 and $2 on that. And I shifted more of, if I sell one item that could net me $50 to $100, that's worth more of my time than selling 100 items. And that's only because I got tired of driving to the USPS to drop off packages. So that's
right. So it's kind of like one of those things where when you're reselling, like you don't go from 0 to 10 grand a month like overnight. It's one of those things where you're just going to gradually keep reinvesting your capital back into your business and kind of slowly scale it and grow your business. So can you give us an example of maybe some products that you go look at? I mean, you do a lot of RA, which is retail arbitrage. You do any online arbitrage where you're like, hey, I found these items online, I'm going to go ahead and snipe them, and you order items in bulk? Or what is like your strategy that you're looking for?
Yeah. Real quick, Hollywood Reseller says, what are your thoughts on YouTube auctions? I don't know if you meant eBay auctions, but I typically don't like to do auctions on eBay just because the fees are higher, and I don't like to wait that 3 to 7 days and deal with that whole auctions scenario. So everything I list is for just for sale and nothing for auction. What was your question? I forgot.
Well, the YouTube auctions he's talking about, there is YouTube resellers that will actually have auctions on their YouTube channel, and maybe they'll start the auction off with items for $5 or whatever, and then that way, whenever the item sells, they're not having to pay all the eBay fees and stuff out of that. They were just maybe a PayPal processing fee, and then that's it. And then maybe they'll start the auction at
Gotcha.
$5, and then it may go up to 50 or 60, 70, $100, whatever it goes up to. So I think that's more what he's talking about. But my question is like, what is your strategy? Do you like going to yard sales? Do you go to thrift stores?
Okay.
Do you do a lot of retail arbitrage? Do you do online arbitrage? Because your time is limited because you still work your full-time 9-to-5 job, plus shooting YouTube videos and reselling on the side. So that was kind of my question in a nutshell. If you could kind of talk about that.
Yeah, no problem. So for me, I do retail arbitrage, and I also do online private labeling from China. So I import items, and that was my bread and butter when I started. Was I used to 100% only import items and resell, and I got into retail arbitrage by accident, actually. I don't know if you remember City Sports. They were a sporting goods company that went out of business. They went bankrupt in 2015, I think, or so. And they had everything on clearance back then. So that was my first understanding of, oh, I can actually go into a physical store, buy an item, and resell it online. So I do both. I go to Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, but I do use, I mentioned in videos, I do use an online tool called BrickSeek so that I'm not just driving around for hours looking for something to resell. I double check if something is in stock, I triple check, I quadruple check, and then I drive to the store, pick it up, and by the time I'm home and by the time I go to bed, I have already listed it, and sometimes I have already sold it. That's really how I do my work.
Okay, now if people aren't familiar with BrickSeek, can you drop some knowledge on us and explain how that works and talk a little bit about, because some of the profit margins when you're doing retail arbitrage on paper, it may start out here, but then you're going to subtract your cost of goods and you're going to subtract your eBay fees, and then after that, your profit margin started here, and it may end up down here by the time you subtract your other expenses. So can you kind of take us behind the curtain about what BrickSeek is all about? I see a lot of Amazon sellers use BrickSeek, and they'll go and try to find, clearance items at Walmart and Target and things like that. So can you touch on that a little bit? Because they have a free version and they have a paid version.
Yep. So before I get into BrickSeek, I do want to talk about how the profit margin works. That's why I mentioned earlier, it's very important that you sell any and everything you can find initially, just so you can learn how profit margin works, how your profit goes from making $20 to only making $2, because you have to calculate the shipping, you have to calculate the fees and all of that. So take your time selling small items before you get into the bigger items, because you have a potential to lose a lot on these fees. So BrickSeek is an online tool that basically checks the inventory of local stores. So they check Target, they check Walmart, they check Lowe's, they check Home Depot. And the way their software works is they let you know when something is at a certain price. So if it's 50% off, they'll let you know, 75% off, they'll let you know. They give you the price online, where it is located in store, and you have the free version, you have the premium version, and you have the extreme version. The free version, I personally, just looks like a huge jumble of things, because that's what it is. It's just, I think they're really old deals that are no longer relevant. So a lot of people see the free version, they look at a deal and they drive to the store and they're like, wait, it's not here. And that's because that's a really old deal that they still have on their site, and that's why it's free. And then there is the premium version. The premium version, they let you know of deals within a certain mileage of where you live. I think it's like 15 miles from where you live. So they check all those local stores around you within that amount of miles, and they give you local alerts up to 2 pages. And then the extreme version, they broaden the horizon where they give you deal alerts. So I think it's up to like 50 miles from where you live. So you have a lot more stores that you can check, and they give you 4 pages of local deals So I think if you're going to try to make BrickSeek work for you, especially as a high volume seller, you definitely need the extreme version. Those are the people that are first getting the alerts. Those are the people that first know about when something's on sale, because those high ticket items somebody was talking about, those things sell like that. They go in 5 to 10 seconds because people set alerts on them months in advance because they understand they're going to go on sale soon, because they went on sale maybe in California and they just haven't hit Maryland yet. So the extreme membership in that case really helps a lot. And I like BrickSeek because it's a month by month. So if you want to just try it for 1 month, you only have, I think it's $29.99 for the extreme membership. You only have $30 to lose to try out a new business strategy, which is very minimal for a business like this.
Okay, awesome. Let me say hello to a few people here in the chat. We got Javela Flips is here. We have the Flippin' Accountant is here. We have BK from the Rockies. Flippin' Accountant, we were just talking about BrickSeek. We have Bobby Mack is in the house. He says high ticket items as well or no. And we have the Hollywood Reseller here. And I wanted to say hey to Flippin' It Good is here in the chat with us. So now talk to me a little bit about that. So you get there because if you guys are like me, you probably have done this. You've been out retail arbitrage. You've rushed to your local Walmart. You're trying to find items that you've maybe seen or heard of. Maybe another reseller gave you a tip, and you get there and you're like, man, I'm going to, rake it in. And then you get there and either, the item maybe not be, right there on the spot. It may be sold out. They also have items that are maybe actually physically there in the store, but it may be in a different department. It may be in a different section. And sometimes I heard they may still have some in stock. Maybe it's in the back room and they just haven't put it out. So when you get the notification and it says, hey, let's say, for example, this Bluetooth speaker is on sale at Walmart. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do when I get there? Do I need to go talk to the manager? Do I need to go make a beeline to the clearance section? Because some of them may be hidden clearance, or maybe it's not marked on clearance yet, but it is a clearance item. So kind of take us behind the curtains a little bit on that.
So there's a lot of different things that go into that because BrickSeek, as you know, is an open source. Anybody can log into it and they can learn about these deals. So that's a double-edged sword. Sellers like you and me can use it and we can go clear out. We can do an amazing job. But also people that are employees at certain department stores like Target and Walmart, they could also use it and know if a coming up sale, and they could also buy it. So a lot of the times you just have to learn your area because every area is different. For my area, I know that Walmart is probably a 90% miss. That's because their inventory count is really bad when it comes to Walmart. They'll tell you they have 10 items and you go to the store, you either can't find it or the employee will tell you it does not exist. So for me, I personally avoid Walmart. And even if a deal looks amazing, I tend not to go because I've had a lot more misses than I've had hits when it came to Walmart. For Target, that one is usually 100% on the money for me. If it says it's in stock, I go to the store. If I can't find it, I just go to a store employee. I let them know, hey, I'm looking for this product. And they ask me, oh, okay. And then I just give them the DCPI number, which is basically the barcode number for that specific item. You give that to them. They look it up on their little gun, and they can see how many they have in stock and exactly where it is.
Yeah, I didn't use BrickSeek before at this time, but I was at a Best Buy and it was Black Friday, and I was looking for this certain video game, and on the Best Buy website, it said they had it in stock. So I walk up there and I'm walking down the aisle and I'm looking for this specific video game and I can't find it anywhere. And I'm the first or second person waiting in line to get there. So I know it's in stock somewhere. And everybody else is grabbing stuff off the shelf and running to check out. And they're like, sir, can I help you? And I said, yeah. And I show them my phone. I'm saying, hey, I'm looking for this particular item. It says you guys have it in stock. I really don't want to ride around to 5 different Best Buys to find this video game that was marked down. I said, is there a way you can check it in the computer to see if you have it in stock? And the lady says, yes, sir. So she walks over there, presses a couple buttons, and she says, oh, yeah, we have it in stock. It's in the back room. Let me go get it for you. And 5 minutes later, she comes walking out and says, oh, here it is. Here you go. Have a good day. So even though in the computer system said it's in stock, I was like freaking out because there's, 1,000 people all running by grabbing stuff off the shelves on Black Friday. And I'm disappointed because I'm like, man, I'm looking for this specific video game. This is the one I want because I know on eBay and Amazon it's going for 40,
Yeah.
50 bucks, and here it's on clearance. I wanted to pick it up, and they had it in stock the whole time, but it's like they have limited shelf space to put items
Yeah.
out. So they want to put out the brand new hot items that they're selling for $60, $70. Those are the ones they want to push. The ones that are on clearance for $10, $15, those might be in a back room somewhere. And the manager, the people that work in there, they don't even know what's on clearance. They don't even know if they have it in stock till you walk it up and bring it to them and say, hey, I'm looking for this exact item. Here's the SKU and model number. Do you happen to have it in stock? And the lady just went, yep, here you go. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And it was that easy. And I'm just like, man, I wish I'd have known this sooner. Because if you're running around spending your time in gas, doing retail arbitrage, looking for items that may or may not be there. So we have a question in the chat from the Flippin' Accountant. He says, have you ever experienced any summer slowdown on eBay this year? So how has your sales been this year overall on eBay? How has it been going for you?
It's been going well, but you have to understand that almost every single seller has a slowdown in the summer. There's more people going out. They're not at home shopping online. They're out doing activities. They're at the bars. They're at the beach. So they're less likely to spend money online, especially on eBay, to buy things. So summer months are very slow for most eBay sellers.
All right. Now, I kind of talk to me a little bit about what are some 2 or 3 tips or tricks, because a lot of your YouTube channel is about reselling. So what would be like, because I saw people in the comments section that were saying, hey, can you do coaching? Can you do one-on-one mentorship? Can you drop some knowledge, help me out? And you're just like, bro, I have to work a 9-to-5 job like everybody else. So what would be like 3 tips that you could give somebody to help them grow or expand their reselling business? Because let's say I somehow hit you up, I DM'd you on Instagram, and I said, hey, man, I'm making some sales on eBay, but I'm doing maybe 1,000, 2,000 a month, and I want to grow and expand my business so I get to the point where I'm making 10 grand a month. What do I need to do? Because there are some people who are, who are completely, new at this game, or they're maybe a little bit lost. Maybe they need some guidance. What would you do to be able to help them out?
I would say the most important thing is to figure out what kind of seller do you want to be. Do you want to be a high volume seller, or do you want to be a high margin seller? And that's 2 very different approaches when it comes to selling products in general. You have the high end products that would sell something for $10,000 and they're happy just to sell one a month, versus the low end sellers that rather sell 10,000 products for $1 profit. So you have to figure out which camp you want to be in. And then once you figure that out, you can narrow down your search very easily. That's usually my approach. I figure out in what price range do I want to be at? And in that price range, what can I sell in that price range? And that's how I tackle things. And that's how I tackle my research. And if you have a product or an industry that you're already doing kind of good in, you're doing well in that industry, and people in there, you got to ask. That's how I expanded when I first started. Is I was selling some stuff in an industry that I wasn't that familiar with, but I was doing really well. So I asked my provider, I said, hey, do you have any other products that you see people are willing to buy and that I could grow? And they're like, yeah, here, you can buy this and this and you can sell them. I was like, okay, cool. Of course, after that, you have to do your own research and make sure that you vet it and go through that. And also that's the other important things, is you have to learn how to vet products. You can't go all in on the first great idea that you have. You got to take a great idea and test it. Testing is one of the most important aspects in this industry. Just because you think that it's going to do really well, it's going to sell high, it has all these potentials, you don't know that until you test it in the real market. So always start small and try to grow it little by little, instead of being stuck with an inventory of 10,000 items that you can't move anymore because you overestimated the demand for it.
Well, sometimes your business model changes. I have some products that are, $5, $6, $7 items that I don't even want to list on eBay anymore. And I have them in boxes out in the shed. And I'm going to try to offload some of them today because it's not worth my time. I want to list, if I can't list an item for at least $10 or higher, I really don't want to spend my time listing $5 items. It just doesn't make sense. There are some people on eBay that sell an item for $5.99 free shipping. And I'm like, I don't know how this guy's making any money, I don't have a clue. So let's say hello to a few people here in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Michael Liz is in the chat. We have my buddy, the Lone Star Picker is here. Sal HQ is here in the chat. And the Flippin' Accountant. We have a question here from the Lone Star Picker. He says, hey, question, what books are on your top 5 to read? And currently, what is a new book that he is reviewing? Business to up his game. We were just talking about that earlier in the stream of a book that you've read.
Yeah. So top 5 books to read. I guess I'll mention the book that we talked about earlier, Millionaire Next Door. It's a really good book to open up your perspective on side hustles, money in general. Another book that I really, really, really love is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. That's more on the personal finance side of things, but it's a really good book to get you started on the right path. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a book that I highlighted in my eBay shipping video. That's a really good book. The 4 Agreements. I forget who it's by. It's a really small book. I actually have it here. It's this book. It's a really great book on mindset and things like that. And actually, lately, I haven't been reading that many business books. I've been reading a lot of old philosophy books by Greek philosophers from back in the day. So that's kind of what I've been into recently. I haven't read that many business books.
All right. So this is something that you kind of touched on a little bit earlier. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with as far as your private label business, because you mentioned that earlier a little bit. That's one of your areas of expertise, or that you specialize in, and you do that on eBay or Amazon. Kind of give us some drop some knowledge on us as far as that goes, if you can help our audience with that a little bit, because from what I've heard, you need a good chunk of money to get started. You can't go in there with $50 or $100. You need to have a good chunk of money to invest to do private label products. So can you tell us a little bit about what your business strategy is with that?
Yeah. Read Alan Watts. I'll definitely give that a read and add it to my list. So private label, I think that people understand it in different ways. Private label could mean that you're this huge seller that needs 7-figure income in order to get into this industry, or it could mean you found a product that you like and you make modifications to it to make it your own. And you don't need a lot of money to get into private selling, private listing. All you need is to find a good contact, and that usually happens overseas on Alibaba or one of those sites. So that's how I approach it. So if I find a product, and the industry that I'm in right now is a lot of camera stuff, camera gear. Since I got into YouTube, I got exposed in the industry and how much profit there is on like really simple item that you and I would take for granted, but somebody in the videography or photography business would think it's liquid gold. So I got into that industry, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm taking products that I find value in and try to make them better. Add maybe, let's say if there's a tripod, I would try to add handles and different things to it to make it my own, and then label it and have a sample order. So that's how, again, I mentioned before, you have to vet any product that you're wanting to sell. So I start with a sample order. On Alibaba, sample orders are a little bit expensive to ship. So you end up kind of having to take a loss on the initial order, and that's by design. I'm okay with that. That's just part of my projection. I'll take a loss ordering that small item, try to see if I can sell it for the price that I'm projecting and how fast I can sell it. And then if it's a product that's selling really fast and it's hitting my profit margin, then I would just order a bigger supply next time. And then I would gauge the demand, because some products you'll see that you're going to do amazingly well in the first 2-3 months, but you didn't factor that's only because it's summer and pools are the biggest thing in the summer. So you kind of have to always, stay on top of it and adjust your orders accordingly. So that's usually how I go about doing stuff like that.
So I got a few questions here. So what platform is it that you usually sell this merchandise on? Is it on eBay? Is it on Amazon? Where do you usually sell it on?
eBay.
Okay, and so guys, if you don't know what he's saying, is like Alibaba, he can order these products from China that can have them custom made for him. And what do you do in order to try to avoid being stuck with the merchandise? Like, what is your what? I'm not asking you to give me the exact product you're selling, but what is your like a cost per unit of it cost you to actually get it made and shipped to you? And what is like your average sell price for those items? And what do you do so you don't order 1,000 of them and be stuck with 995 of them? Like, are you worried about like, man, this item was selling 6 months ago, and now I have 1,000 of them in my garage, and I'm stuck with them, and I can't get rid of them? Like, so what do you do to take those precautions?
So again, that's just all about part of the vetting process, right? So let's say, for example, right, I just have this in front of me. This is a little housing case for micro SD cards. So if I wanted to go ahead and sell this under my brand, I can. If I can come up with some improvements to this, maybe I can add like a little keychain holder or something to it just to make it a little bit more unique. I would do that. I would go to Alibaba or one of those sites, find something along these lines, ask them to customize it to my needs, give them the specifications, have a sample order of maybe something like 10, have it come over, list it, go through the vetting process. And then after that, you either double down on something or you abandon it, right? So for me, I initially ordered 10 of these, then I do pretty well on it. I would order 40 just to test it. I never over order. That's one of my things. I rather be low on inventory and I'd rather be sold out than to be stuck with something. So I always control my order. I don't get too excited because something is doing really well. And I think that's when you get stuck with those 1,000 items because you just assumed that it's just going to keep continuing like it has been. And I don't do that. I try not to do that. I adjust for the demand. And that's about it. That's the only secret there is to it. There's no way to really influence buyers to want your product all the time. So you kind of have to manage your inventory and just gauge the market to not be stuck with something. And I do see a question. Do y'all invest in cryptocurrency? I heavily invest in cryptocurrency. That's a huge, huge personal thing of mine that I've been doing for years now. So yes, I do invest in cryptocurrency.
I'm not investing in stocks or cryptocurrency or anything right now. I'm spending a lot of my energy investing on myself. I have other things besides reselling that I want to do. I'm working on, getting my my notary license so I can work as a notary agent. I'm working on getting my my broker's license to be a broker as a licensed real estate agent. I'm working on reinvesting in my business and eBay. I have 6,500 items. I'm trying to get to 10,000 items listed by the end of the year. I invest on trying to grow, my YouTube channel. I have other things that I'm trying to invest in. So for me to have money, like, here, I'll show you guys something. Like, this is stuff that I picked up like yesterday from the thrift store. I'm picking up video games like this at a thrift store for $1 a piece. Like this, for example, this Indiana Jones game sells on eBay for $20. I picked this up for $1. This one right here, I know you guys know what this guy. This is Super Paper Mario. I picked this up for $1. So when I'm getting a 20x rate of return on my money and I'm in and out the door in 2 minutes, I love that turnaround as opposed to just having money sitting in the stock market or a cryptocurrency that goes up or down. I have no control over it. If it goes, it might do cartwheels. There's nothing I can do. It's like you putting your money on a roller coaster and hope it doesn't blow up, So let's say hello to here. A few people in the chat. We have Michael Liss is here. He says, is Alibaba worth the price and quantity versus AliExpress? I wanted to say, hey, real quick to Annie. My buddies are here. Ebliss Reseller Solutions, Dave and Lori. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out. I wanted to say hey to Nakoma Fines is in the chat, and the Flippin' Sports guy is here, and the Lone Star Picker. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody in the chat, but if I did, I apologize. So you want to talk about that real quick as far as Alibaba versus AliExpress, because I'm not on either of those platforms.
Yeah, so I would say that they're kind of the same but different. So I don't think it's fair to say one is worth more than the other because I use them for different approaches. So for AliExpress, if you guys are not familiar with AliExpress and Alibaba, Alibaba is basically a way for you to get in contact with warehouses in China that manufacture a billion different things, right? So if I wanted to get this made here, I would find a company on Alibaba that sells it and have them manufacture it for me and have them ship it over to me. The thing about Alibaba is there is usually a minimum order requirement. So for something this small, because shipping overseas is very expensive. So for something this small, Alibaba would require you to have maybe 1,000 of these ordered in order for them to ship it to you. But if you go on AliExpress, you can buy 10 of these for a higher markup because they factor that into the price of selling 10 of these instead of 1,000 of these. So I typically use AliExpress to vet a product. So if I don't feel like customizing something, if I just want to order just this here and just test it to see if it's going to sell well, I'll eat the cost and order this on AliExpress for a higher premium so I can get less quantity of it. And then once I'm happy with the product, then I would go on Alibaba and say, hey, I have this. I need you to send this over to me, and I'm willing to get 2,000 of these per month. How much would that cost me? But one thing I would highly suggest is before you make that transition from AliExpress to Alibaba, when you're on Alibaba, do an initial quality check order for these items. Just because you bought it on AliExpress, you might have had a different vendor. So you want to do a quality order just to do a sample order, and they would charge you a premium for that, of course. So do a sample order, have them bring it to you, test it, make sure it's good quality. Then you can do your bigger item orders, your bulk orders, so that you're not stuck with defective products.
All right, cool. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what are some of your projects that you're working on in the future? Like, what do you see yourself doing in the next 3 to 5 years? Because you have your regular 9 to 5 job, is you're working in the software area. You have your YouTube channel. You're at like 36,000 subscribers right now. You have your reselling business. What are some future endeavor projects and goals that you have for yourself, or where do you see yourself in the future? Maybe 2 years, 3 years from now. What are some projects or things that you've been thinking about, or some things that you're working on?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So lately, I haven't been doing a lot of YouTube videos, and that's because I've decided to focus on a business that I was starting from scratch. So I was starting a software development business where I take on clients for myself so that I don't have to go through corporate America in order to do that. So that's one of the things that I've been working on for myself for the past 8 months. And I've been getting clients. So that's what I want to focus on. And I also want to use that in order to be able to give me time to do YouTube and my eBay business. So that's my goal, is to transition away from full-time 9 to 5 to more of a consulting agreement with government agencies to do software development for them, and then use the rest of the time to make cool content that I personally enjoy making and that I think people would enjoy.
Yeah, man, this guy, Rodas, he's got masterclass on YouTube. So tell everybody where they can check you out at on YouTube and Instagram. I have your links down below.
Yeah, so you can find me at exactly where you see that name, Rodas Yonass. You can search that on YouTube or on Instagram, and I'm on both. And if you guys have any questions as far as selling on eBay, as far as starting a YouTube channel, anything that I'm comfortable talking to you about, I'm more than happy to answer.
All right, awesome. Well, I hope we have you back on again in the future. I had a good time hanging out and chatting with you, and talking about reselling and YouTube and other endeavors. So we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to say? Because what I tell people is, if you're on the fence about YouTube or reselling, just get started. With YouTube channel, it's free to get started. With reselling, you can start, getting items like this for 50 cents or $1 at the thrift store, and you can start with $20 in your pocket and just get started. What say you? What kind of final thoughts can you leave our audience with today?
Yeah, I mean, to just feed off of that, I would say just get started and start small. Anything that you want to do, whether it be YouTube, whether it be reselling, just start small and gradually build. Don't expect to be up here when you're just starting. It is a process and we all have to grind through it. So just start small. And if you have questions, reach out to people that are experts in that field. That's how I've been able to get this far ahead, is reaching out to people that knew more than me and asking them and using that advice to try to implement it into what I'm doing and trying to get better.
Awesome, bro. Well, we appreciate you coming on today, man. And next time I see you, bro, you're going to be at like 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to hit you up and you're like, sorry, Jeff, you know, I'm big time now. I'm at 100,000 subscribers. Call me back later, you know. So, hey, we appreciate everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. We appreciate our guests for coming on and hanging out. So if you guys want to come hang out with me on Sunday, I think it's around 5 o'clock. I have the real Ross boss is going to be here. So if you guys want to learn all about what he does as far as buying shoes, clothing, jerseys that he buys from Ross and turns around and resells them on eBay. I mean, that's his full-time gig. So come by and check him out. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Till then, you guys have a great day and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.